The Berlin Wall, symbol of division and freedom. The Berlin Wall was more than just concrete, barbed wire, and guard towers. It was a physical and symbolic division that split families, destroyed dreams, and became the defining image of the Cold War. For nearly 3 decades, it stood as a reminder of the struggle between dictatorship and freedom, East and West, oppression and hope. Origins of the Wall. After World War II ended in 1945, Germany was divided into 4 zones controlled by the Allies: the United States, Britain, France, and the Soviet Union. Berlin, the capital, was also divided into East and West, despite being deep inside Soviet-controlled East Germany. Tensions quickly grew between the Soviet Union and the Western Allies. By 1949, Germany split into 2 countries: West Germany, Federal Republic of Germany, a democratic state, and East Germany, German Democratic Republic, a communist state under Soviet influence. But Berlin was a special case. West Berlin became a democratic island inside communist territory, and many East Germans fled there to escape the restrictions of their government. Between 1949 and 1961, around 2.7 million people escaped to the West through Berlin. This brain drain threatened East Germany's survival. Building the Wall. On the night of August 12, 1961, East German authorities, backed by the Soviets, made a shocking move. Soldiers and construction crews began sealing off West Berlin. Streets were torn up, barbed wire fences were rolled out, and soon concrete walls rose to block every road and pathway between East and West. Families woke up to find themselves separated overnight. The Berlin Wall stretched 96 miles, 155 kilometers, around West Berlin. Guard towers, floodlights, dogs, and landmines made it nearly impossible to cross. East German guards had orders to shoot to kill anyone trying to escape. Life in the shadow of the wall. For East Berliners, life was harsh. Freedoms were limited, travel was restricted, and many lived under constant surveillance by the secret police, Stasi. The wall was not just a barrier of stone. It was a prison that trapped millions of people inside a system they could not escape. For West Berliners, life was freer, but the wall was a painful daily reminder. Families were torn apart, parents separated from children, husbands from wives, brothers from sisters. The wall cut through roads, neighborhoods, and even cemeteries. Escape attempts. Despite the dangers, thousands still attempted to flee across the Berlin Wall. Some dug tunnels, others floated across rivers, and a few even flew hot air balloons or crashed homemade planes. Tragically, more than 140 people lost their lives trying to cross. One of the most famous escapes happened in 1962, when a group of West Germans dug a 450-foot tunnel that allowed 29 people to reach freedom. These stories of bravery and sacrifice captured global attention and highlighted the human cost of division. The wall as a symbol. The Berlin Wall became the ultimate symbol of the Cold War. For the West, it represented communist oppression. For the East, it was described as an anti-fascist protective barrier, though many knew it was really built to keep people in, not enemies out. When U.S. President John F. Kennedy visited Berlin in 1963, he gave his famous speech declaring, "Ich bin ein Berliner," I am a Berliner, expressing solidarity with the people of Berlin. In 1987, another U.S. President, Ronald Reagan, stood at the Brandenburg Gate and challenged Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." The fall of the wall. By the late 1980s, cracks began to appear in the communist world. Peaceful protests spread through Eastern Europe, and East Germans demanded freedom. On November 9, 1989, in a moment that shocked the world, the East German government announced that citizens could freely cross into West Berlin. Crowds rushed to the checkpoints, guards opened the gates, and people began chipping away at the wall with hammers and tools. The Berlin Wall, once a feared prison, collapsed in joy and celebration. Families reunited after decades of separation, and Berlin became one again. Within a year, Germany itself was reunited, marking the end of the Cold War era. Legacy of the Wall. Today, only fragments of the Berlin Wall remain. They stand as powerful reminders of division, struggle, and the triumph of freedom. The wall may be gone, but its memory lives on as a warning, and as a symbol that no barrier can forever suppress the human desire for liberty.